What's up, guys? Balzacki and MTG here. Just doing a video here on how to build a deck in Magic the Gathering Arena. So, in the app, you can store, I think it's 100 decks. Yeah, you can see up there at the top it says 97 of 100. So, I'm about to build a deck, so I'll have 98 decks. So it stores up to 100 in the app. So I'm going to get rid of a couple of my old ones. But it's one of the funnest things to do in the app is build a deck. So what you're going to see when you first pull the screen up to build a deck is select format. Well, what this does is it filters out in whatever format you're playing. If there's any illegal cards or cards that they've, banned from playing in that format, it automatically filters them out of your collection for this specific deck. It don't filter them out forever, so don't worry, they'll still be there. Like if you play in historic, I think historic you can use all the cards that you've from every faction or whatever it's called, every set. And you can also search for cards like you see here, rare, mystic, rare, uncommon. I'm going to do a white and a red deck, so I selected white, red, what I have collect, and then I've got it. This is my collection, so this things I have. And as you can see here, it automatically pulls up everything in your collections that's mystic, rare, uncommon, whatever you chose in that filter. So what I'm doing here is just kind of going through. I'm going to go all the way to the end and look for my multicolored cards first. Multicolored cards are red and white, and they're usually legendary creatures. They usually got pretty cool stuff. They're great to build decks with because they mesh well together. So that's what I'm doing here. Building a deck takes some time because you have to look at each card, and when you're looking at the cards like this, when you want to look at a card, you just touch and leave your finger on it, and or right click it, and it'll zoom in on the card so you can read it better. Sorry about the noise in the background. It's my daughter's alarm going off. So I'm going to use this guy. I think he's going to be what I base my deck around. Like I said, I'm doing a red and white deck, so I'm looking at all the red and white legendary creatures. And a lot of these have to do with equipment or vehicles. So once I figure out all my creatures, and so what I just did there was I wanted 2 of that card, so you just add 1 extra to your deck, and it'll show up like it's not really there, but it is. And then at the bottom you can hit craft all, and when you do, it brings up whether or not you've got a wild card. If you do, you can use it and finish the deck, and then it don't finish the deck. It says that, but it actually is just giving you that card. So you got to look what you're using those cards. That rare wild card, you don't have many of those, so you want to use it for something you dang sure want. I've been saving that wild card for a creature that I wanted, or I've been trying to get a wild card to get a creature that I wanted, so I'm not using it on that one. This app is so much fun. Makes it really easy to build a deck. It also streamlines the game. The game is a very hard game and complicated game. It's a lot to learn, but this app makes it fast to learn, and it's got great tutorials. This part kind of takes a long time. You just kind of got to take your time looking at everything and seeing how the cards mesh together. But this search engine within the app that you see up there in your far left corner, it says search at the top, right below home and profile. That will help you filter through your cards a lot quicker. There's all kinds of different things that you can choose. There's, vampires, angels, demons, dragons, just all kinds of different stuff, and elves and goblins and witches, and there's a ton of things that you can choose, and you just go in that search engine and type that in, and it'll filter out all the cards that has to do with that. So like if you want to do vampires, or like in my case, human knights or knights, you would just put knights, and then it will give you all the knights. And then a lot of times cards will say other knights you have, will have a special ability, either vigilance or, all other knights get +1/+1, and that means when you bring that creature into play onto the battlefield, all other knights on the battlefield automatically get +1/+1. So if you have a multiple of those, it becomes, it builds everything up quick, and that's what you're looking for in a deck. You're looking for good synergy. And if you don't know what synergy is how well the deck plays with each other, how well the cards play together in the deck. So, we did creatures. So I went back to my filters. I think I'm going to go in the search engine here and type equipment. And what that'll do, it'll give me all equipment, red and white. And of course, anything that's non-colored, like artifacts, are non-colored a lot of times. It'll give me those too usually. But all of these, it looks like they're red and white. As you can see here, I was looking at this card. It's a cat cleric, but it's a cat, so it doesn't really go with any of my stuff, even though it's a cool card. I'm not going to have a whole lot of other cats entering the battlefield. So right now I'm just picking some artifacts to go into the deck. And all this stuff should work good together because the cards in the deck say stuff about equipment and artifacts and whatnot, and vehicles. As you can see, we're about 9 minutes in, and I've got about 45 cards so far of my 60 card deck. You can have more cards than 60. I usually run about 69 to 73 or so. I like to do odd numbers for some reason. That's just a luck thing with me. I feel like I always, when I do a deck that's an odd number, I usually have good luck with it. So just some weird superstition I have. Probably don't mean nothing at all. But what I do suggest, if you do go over the 60 mark, just remember, in a 60 card deck, you're going to have somewhere around 23 to 25 creatures. You're going to have somewhere around 12 to 15 enchantments, artifacts, other stuff than creatures. And then you're going to have somewhere around 24, 25 land in a 60 card deck. I mean, however you want to, sacrifice what you need to have a 60 card deck. Some people like to stick with 60. 60 does do well. I mean, a lot of my 60 card decks play very well. If you can tighten them up. It's hard to do because there's a lot of cards you're going to want to keep. But what you got to realize is when you play the deck, pay attention to what cards play well and what cards kind of stump you, or what cards you don't end up using very much, or when they come into your hand that you don't end up playing a whole lot. You'll realize that those are the cards that you need to get out of your deck. Ones that are, even if it's a great card, it doesn't matter if it's not playing well in your deck. So just pay attention when you're playing. You'll kind of get an idea, or you'll start to see what you need to eliminate from your deck. Pay attention to your cards. Each card you pick, at least read through it and see what it does. And try to think of another card inside the deck that will this card play well with, or will it have some kind of effect with another card. That's the key to building a good deck, is good synergy. A lot of times same faction, zombies, elves, just pick one and it's hard to play two different kinds of creatures together, but some play well. But normally you're going to pick one style or one type of creature card and try to get most of your stuff in that same faction of whatever it is. Goblins, wolves. I mean, there's a bunch, and there's a bunch of cool stuff to do. There's so many different things and different ways you can win. I can't even explain. I mean, it's so much stuff to learn and so many things that you can figure out. And when you're playing against someone and you're losing, just pay attention to what they're doing. Watch how their cards play together. And look for those cards in your deck and see if you can't use those. In your collection, and see if you can't use those in a deck. You see them play well for someone else. So remember those cards. This game, you can learn a lot from losing too. So here, I already did my equipment. I picked my equipment. Now I'm picking my vehicles. And the cool thing is like I said, if you don't know how any of this stuff works, or how to get information on a card, just hold your finger on the card and it'll pull it up and it'll zoom in on it, and then you can read the card. And it always gives explanations of the different features the card has or ability that it has. So I'm almost done. The last step will be picking my land. Like I said, you want to do about a third of your deck land. Unless you got a lot of cards that don't have high mana cost, you don't need a lot of land. If you got low mana cost cards, you can run fewer land. But how this game streamlines the process of building a deck, or even building one and testing one, and then just getting to play the game fast. If if you'd ever played duels, it's how this game plays in a lot of ways. It's like duels. It does have a format in here called Brawl, which you can play, and it makes you build a Commander style deck. I've never played Commander, so I don't know how different it is from Brawl. It may be more of a traditional format like a best 2 out of 3 or something, but I'm not for sure. But this one, Brawl, is just a duel, like one game. You get 25 life in that format. And it's a singleton deck. It means you can only have one of each card that you pick for the deck, which is kind of hard to build. But that's another thing, like I said, when you're building a commander deck like that, pick a faction, pick wolves, pick vampires, pick something, angels. I built an angel deck, and it runs really good. I win a lot with it, and I'd never played that format. Just make sure whatever you're picking has good synergy and works together well. Well, I'm about done. So you can go at the top here where you see those little orange bars on the right where it says new deck 82, and then the little orange bars are on the right. That kind of tells you what's in your deck and what's not in your deck. And as you can see here, I'm picking multicolored lands here. So these multicolored lands, if you're playing a multicolored deck, you want them in there. And as you automatically pick them, it eliminates the basic lands that it replaces. So you'll have to put a few extra basic lands back in there because it takes them. It don't necessarily take them. It just kind of evens them out. But then you can go here after you're pretty much done and you got your land, you got your deck built. You can do all the deck details. So you can name your deck, you can pick your avatar, your companion, your card sleeves. And it's pretty cool. So since this deck is vehicles, decided to name it Deathmobile. You can name your decks anything you want. You don't have to name them. It'll automatically say new deck number, so it'll number them, and you can keep up with them that way. Here you can select your avatar.
Every clue I find is
right here,
more sinister than the last.
Deck, every time you play this deck, it'll automatically have whatever avatar you pick for the deck. It'll automatically have whatever companion you pick for the deck. And it'll also have
ready yourself, Elishnorn.
Whatever card sleeves.
Your
and so when you pick that deck, it'll automatically.
The Emperor has been missing for a decade, but I know she's alive.
If you want to edit
somewhere.
that or change that out later, you can. You can go back into edit your deck. You can always edit your deck anytime. It's real easy. It makes it easy. Go in there and take out a few cards, add a few lands real quick, and then go right back to testing it. So now, just go home, play, go over to, I could have just went to standard play, but I went to standard rank, but I picked Deathmobile. Then I'm gonna go here and hit play, and go to standard play. Now I can test my deck without, messing up my ranking. Which, once you reach a ranking on here, popped up. Once you reach your ranking on here, it can't be taken away from you for that season. A season runs about once a month, so you gotta reach it pretty quick. Gameplay. Testing the deck I just built here. Get 7 cards and it comes out. You want to have about 3 land in you. blue that you see that's lighting up around the cards indicates what cards are available for play. It means that's the cards you can use to play at this point. You see down here on the right, it's going through your phases. And so fun to see how it's going to play. Together. Once you realize it does well, I'm pretty excited about it. But, awesome. Every deck thinks about different mechanics to use, some kind of different approach. There's a lot of strategy in playing the game, so pay attention to the cards. You want to make sure. Alright, see, so he gave up. So the deck tested well. So thanks again, guys. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.